I'd like to welcome everybody to the inauguration ceremony of the Zandman Center for Microelectronics. A very special day for the university. As we welcome Dr. Zandman and Mrs. Zandman, I'd like to begin the ceremony by inviting Professor Avishai Braverman, President of the university, to offer his greetings.
Thank you very much, Dr. Felix Zandman. But first, Ruta Zandman, our good friend, Dr. Sidney Stein and his wife, Director, Professor Nahum Finger, the head of the Zandman Center, Dr. Omodali, Avraham Inbar, the President of Vishay Israel, and all the other Vice President and members of Vishay, including I am very glad, the former Director General of the Environment Ministry and the former Consul General of Israel to Philadelphia, my good friend Dr. Israel Peleg, that is with us here. Many friends, deans, and I'm so glad also that we have with us Shlomo and Jackie Stegg from Los Angeles with many of their family and friends in this special day, 2 days before Holocaust Day, Yom HaShoah. As a matter of fact, I have a dilemma because almost everybody speaks Hebrew. From the Stegg part is only Jackie doesn't speak. From the Zandman clan, I think it's basically only Sid Stein that doesn't speak. So, and his wife as well. So I should be, this time, not in Israel, I'll be polite, because at 4 o'clock when we'll have the doctorate ceremony, it all will be in Hebrew with simultaneous translation that everybody can have in English. But in honor of Jackie and the Steins, I shall speak in English. But next time, please learn Hebrew, because Amos Oz, that is professor here, always try to force me that all the ceremonies will be in Hebrew in honor of our language. This is indeed a very special, and I'm so glad that the former Minister of Education just came in, my good friend Aaron Yadlin. Shalom, please, Aaron, please come and join us. As I said, it was through conversation that I had with Felix that we created this day, because normally we have all the events that we're doing in the Board of Governors or around Ben-Gurion Day. But after conversing with Felix and Ruta and spending time in Los Angeles with Jackie and Shlomo and seeing what happens, as I said before, that many of us, of our students, of our children, start to forget where we come from and therefore where we are going towards, that will take this April 14 and bring special survivors with their friends and dedicate this day, as we'll do also tomorrow and Yom HaShoah, for reflection and commitment, acknowledgement of great people on one hand, and then commitment of this university to do things differently, and I mean that, differently than other places, both in memory and in creation of new programs. We're talking about Poland right now. Before we talk about Juradno, with Shlomo and his friends, and here we come to Grondno and Vishay. This story of the great Jewish culture in East Europe, power in Poland and Lithuania and other places. But the symbolism of the people here is about continuity, about strength, and about creativity. We're going to establish over this lunch a new center, a center in thick films. Nobody understands this language besides Dr. Omodali and Felix and the other members. So I'll call it a Center in Materials for Microelectronics. Because as we believe, and as Ruta and Felix believe, that the future of Israel have two components. One is the creation of brain-oriented and efficient industries that will make Israel, as it's becoming, one of the most successful nations economically. Inventions to innovation to commercialization. And Felix, a survivor that learned mathematics from his uncle in a cell under a Polish house of a Gentile, came to the Sorbonne, studied physics, had many inventions, and today is running a corporation of $1.5 billion. I don't know what was the stocks lately, so excuse me if it's a bit less or more. But he is a true Zionist. He works all over the world, in 56 countries, I think. But here, he established factories in Dimona, in Beersheba, in Migdal HaEmek, and when we met, he believed like us that the future of this society is in the Negev because of population growth, because of the spirit of idealism, and not just materialism that is still permeating in this university and in the Negev. And therefore, this day, this special day, we will bring the stakes that helps us to push the students, and we bring the Zandmans with all the friends to push the transformation of this area in the Zandman spirit. Is a special day for us. But this won't be special if I, on behalf of our university, with my good friend, Director Nachum Finger, are committed to push our Faculty of Social Science and Humanities, and I'll declare at 4 o'clock, beside what happened here, we'll have another chair from a friend from Czechoslovakia that is not here, that asked me for the Jews from Slovakia that will study. That will be committed to study more the Holocaust, but also the land of Israel. We'll start a new department for studying the history of the land of Israel. And in addition, we'll establish special Jewish centers here, because technocracy by itself and materialism by itself has no meaning, and I'll repeat it like old Qatar. Therefore, this is the time, because I am dismayed sometimes, as a son of somebody that came from Poland, was a carpenter and a poet, that sang to me the songs like Felix, like Solomon, like many of you, of the great shtetls of Poland. Not just what took place in survival materialism, but about culture and spirit. So therefore, this place, Ben-Gurion University, which fast becoming the most dynamic university, creating industries around here, in the social science and humanities, will dedicate it to the survivors, because we cannot forget. We must learn and understand where we came from. Only people who remember where they come from, people like that, can be a light unto the nation. Matter and spirit together. And in that regard, it is the greatest privilege for us today to have great people like yourself here. And I'm very proud that we'll establish here the Zandman Center in honor and Ruta of Felix, with Dr. Modali, that came from DuPont 2.5 years ago, and it was a Bisher type of wedding. Because I'll tell you the truth, when I sat with Felix at the house in Ramat Aviv, and we agreed that he supports the university. And he said, okay, that's it. I said, Felix, I don't want you to just support the university. I want you to get you and Ruta something personally involved. And then he said, well, you know my business. I would like to do something here. Do we have something of that regard? I asked the rector, who looked around, we offer this and that. And all of a sudden, we asked Dr. Omodali to call Dr. Zandman. And Dr. Zandman said, this man I was looking for the last 15 years. That's what I want to do. So today we're starting this center with our committed professors, committed students, with the help of the people. And for me today, this Beersheba is not about Los Angeles and Philadelphia, it's not about Tel Aviv, it's about the same status in Poland that many of the people that are not with us now and went through the war suffering, I looking above and seeing that what these survivors are doing, it's what we must learn and follow. So I thank you all, and I thank you, Ruta and Felix, and I thank all you friends that came with you. God bless you. Am Yisrael Chai. Toda rabba. To ask now Ruta and Felix to join me to the podium. Again, Shlomo, as we talk in our tradition, I have to hold it always straight. Again, we have special pieces that goes old people that want to continue, and this is from the Roman Byzantine period, 63 BCE to 640 CE. It's to Ruta and Dr. Felix Zandman on the occasion of the dedication of the Zandman Center for Microelectronics in Friendship and Partnership, Avishai Braverman, President, on behalf of the great Ben-Gurion University, April 14, 1993. Okay. We have for the photographer to take the picture. I'm in front of Beno, so I have to do things right. Now, I got faxes from all over, you know, people from America, but I'll just, the president of American Associates, Dr. Shlomo and Ruta and Felix. But here is something especially that came from Philadelphia. Dear Felix and Ruta, your Ben-Gurion University family in Philadelphia is with you in spirit and bursting with pride. Wish you a mazel tov on this auspicious occasion. May you go from strength to strength. Warmest regards, Bad and Harriet Sofa, Stel and Arlene Ginsburg, Eileen and Jules Whiteman, and Claire Williams. And now, I would ask, shall Ruta speak for a change? No. Okay, okay. Okay, great. Dr. Zandman is going to address it.
Most of it, of what I wanted to say, has been said already, so I'll have to modify this to some extent. Dear Dr. Braverman, honorable guests, friends, family, dear wife, Ruta, I am very honored and proud and happy to be able to come here and to be here to receive this award. Really, I didn't plan it like that, but what happened, I will tell you. I was connected with the Ben-Gurion University already in the 70s when it started. Somebody in Philadelphia came to me at that time, the organization didn't exist yet, and said the university is going to be opened, you have to do something, etc. And I sent here a photoelastic laboratory, and it's in use there in one of the faculties here. And since then I got involved in other areas, and finally time came to once again rejoin the circle and come back to the Ben-Gurion University. It was through the friendship with Al Safa and this Steins and other friends in Philadelphia, I finally said, I made the circle through the Technion and other institutions. I said, let's start the second round. And we came back to Ben-Gurion University. So for me, it wasn't a complicated matter. We decided with Ruta together, we talked about it, and we said, okay, let's give them so-and-so money, make a big gift, and that's the end of the affair, which we did. But that's where it started, really, because Dr. Braverman is very tenacious, and he said, thank you very much for the gift. Money is money, that's fine, but now we need you personally to get involved. And I couldn't shake him off. There was no way how to do it. But on a more serious tone, when I started to think about it, in fact, there are certain aspects of my work at Vichy and my prior work in technical matters gives me a belief that I could lend a hand to the works of the research center here at Ben-Gurion University. As I told you, asked me what can I do about it, and I said, well, we are involved quite heavily in all kinds of microelectronic materials, so why not to open a center, do R&D, spend the money there, we'll find some other people or some other companies which will give you equipment. We need a man. We found Dr. Honorary, which has a tremendous background in thick film materials used from microelectronics, which matches quite well in what we do. Therefore, technically, I could help, and we started that. But like anything else, what was the reason why we asked that, Dr. Braverman? So that's the mechanics, what we'll be doing there, but really what does he want to accomplish? The idea behind is that this center, if successful, and we hope it will be successful, should become world famous in this area. And if it did, it becomes, through research and development, through publication of papers, through patents, through lectures, and through the contributions to the industry, it becomes famous, it will attract very big professors, teachers in the field, among them Dr. Stein, one of the glories in America, in the world, in the field of microelectronics, to give here lectures, to train and to teach PhDs, which in turn will become professors, which in turn will produce more and more research, which in turn will make this university a shining center in this area. And I don't have to tell you how this is important. This, in fact, is materials are driving electronics. Any components which you have, anything electronic which you want, a box, a television set, or a radio, or a video recorder, whatever, is composed of components inside. For example, it happens so that I have here in my pocket the inside, the guts of a telephone. You know, all of you have a Motorola telephone. Well, this happens to be Ericsson. You open it up, you pull it out. Inside is a board like that, which has a lot of small chips inside. Here there are 426 chips of the Vichy type. Yeah, you open that yours, and that's what you'll find in 426, plus some 25 integrated circuits, which we don't make. This together makes the telephone. That's what makes you here. And that's where we are involved. Our factory right here in Dimona is producing 50 million of those components per day. Every day we produce 50 million of those components. And they're sold very, very cheaply. We sell them, let's say for 1,000, you'll have to pay maybe $3.50, maybe $3. This is what makes this available, this whole thing, with the box, with the readout, with the interconnections, with the whole thing, for a few $100s. And with time, this probably will be sold for $50. So the fight there is on 3 levels. First, to make the component as small as possible so you can put it in the pocket, so you don't have to take a briefcase or push it with a car. You have to put it in the pocket. Maybe you can make it small like that. Okay, so that's number 1, small. Next, it has to be very well performing, so you can hear. You don't have to shout. You can hear America or China or whatever. Very good signals, very good performance, number 2. And number 3, you should be able to afford it. It should be made available for everybody in the world, not only Americans or Israelis, but also for the Chinese and the Indians and so on. It is a basic things, communications between people. It's a help to be able to speak to each other, to interrelate to each other, to become friends, to become businessmen. This is really what's about. But when Dr. Stein finished his lecture saying, and now he goes to sensors, where electronics is going to sense things. In fact, Vichy or me personally, I started with sensors. I started from sensors, came to electronics, He's in electronics, going back to sensors. It's a circle, continuous circle. My first work was in photoelasticity, the science which measures stresses in plastics. I developed a technique where you apply a coating to a part. I was in France at that time. I made a doctorate of that, to an airplane, and you measure stresses. You know, you all fly on airplanes. When you look through the window and you see the wing shaking, I bet you there's something in your stomach. You start to feel, well, is it going to be strong enough or not? Is it going maybe to break? So it was necessary to develop sensors, instruments, something, to know what does the wing sense. How much does it hurt him? Where does it hurt him? And where the wing could break off, so as to make it stronger so it never really breaks. This is what I developed, the optical technique. You cover the part with a certain coating. You look with some instruments. You see it in colors. You convert it to numbers. And because of that, I was brought into the United States in 1956 already to introduce it to the American aircraft industry, mainly to the Air Force. And then other people got interested, the automotive industry and so on, and it became a standard technique. Once it started to go, I got interested in other techniques, namely sensing stress electronically. A sensor existed at that time already, which is called